get to that because that's the part that makes you dance. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sales Chatter, the podcast where we help 10,000 sales reps generate $1 million GP in under 12 months. Ryan, how are you this morning, brother?
I am doing amazing, excited, had an amazing time yesterday. Two things I want to shout out, Dan. I want to shout out Vladdy Guerrero of our Toronto Blue Jays last night, winning the home run derby. You know, actually becomes the first father and son duo to ever win the home run derby, as his father, I forget his first name, but he was Vladimir Guerrero. Yeah, because if he's Vladdy Guerrero Jr., then he's Vladdy Guerrero.
Yes,
there we go. So he played for the Montreal Expos, but our Toronto Blue Jays. And I want to say suck it to all the American media, because I don't know if I'm pretty sure you didn't watch it, Dan, but the whole time, like in the first round, they're like, oh, he's gas. They did not give him his clout. They did not give him his flowers. And what did he do? He came and won the whole thing. So shout out to Vladimir, my man.
Nice. So, not to sound ignorant or anything, but so what is it? Is it a pitcher just kind of lobbing pitches in, or do they try and actually strike them out?
No. They don't try to. So it's like it's All-Star weekend, right? So it's just like NHL or basketball where they have like the skills competition and stuff. So it's really for the fans. So just to see, like there was one guy, Dan, and you get 3 minutes each round, each batter. There's one guy the first round, and he probably got gassed out because he launched 42 dingers in that 3 minutes. You know, you think about that. That's like a home run every 2 or 3 seconds, you know, and shout out to, but, you know, he lost because he got tired, right? So it's a marathon, baby.
So they keep going. They keep going.
So it's a round robin, right? So it'll be like me versus you, and then like 16 of them, and then you move on to the next, and then you move on to the finals. And then, so you're probably batting maybe 3 or 4 times. I didn't watch the finals. I just watched the first rounds. I was like, all right, Vladdy, you got this. But the home run derby, it's the big spectacle of the All-Star game, because I don't know. I find all All-Star games are pretty boring because they have no reason to try, right? So I feel like
it's even more showboating, and I mean that in the showboating. These guys are super athletes. Like, let's call a spade, right? To get to the major leagues in any sport is, but there's that mutual respect. Like they're not throwing, like in hockey, I'll use that example because that's what I watch. They're not throwing massive hits. They're not hitting them at the blue line if their head's down. You know what I mean?
They can't get injuries, right? They got it. The playoffs is what they play for, but the All-Star stuff is really for the fans, and it's a good way to kind of give back and stuff like that. But so I don't really watch the All-Star games, but these things like the slam dunk contest, the skills competition in NHL, you really get to see why these guys are All-Stars and why these guys are the top of the top, you know, with how effortlessly they do these things. So once again, shout out from our
contest. I just watched some of Jordan's slam dunk contests the other day, and I mean, we're talking 2 decades ago, but still, man, that like it blew me away. Like there's guys doing some pretty cool stuff, but I mean, I think he was the first one that like was, you know, going up on one side of the rim and then coming down all the way
Dominique Wilkins. Yeah, it was, you know, it's crazy, man. Now it's become more of a show, but like before it was just straight dunking. I will say this, and I will go on a hill and say this: Vince Carter is the greatest dunker of all time in the slam dunk competition. He was Dan, I think it was in 2000 when he won. He was 1 point away from having a perfect score for the entire thing. So he got straight 50s for every single dunk, and Isaiah Thomas robbed him of that 1 point. But Vince Carter, greatest dunk competition of all time. I personally think so.
Let's do it. So, all right, my man. Today, got a little bit of a switch up for y'all. We're going to do our clips today. We got Dooner coming in on Thursday, so we're going to do our clips today and then have a conversation Thursday instead of Mindset Thursday. You know, we might be changing this up in the future where Ryan and I are kind of discussing it. You know, if you all have any comments about it, please let us know. If you enjoy the clips, if they bring value to you, let us know, because I know a lot of them are not about logistics. It's more about mindset, and you don't necessarily have to talk logistics when you talk mindset and personal development, personal growth, because this journey that we're on is not just a business journey. It's a personal journey. So do you want to start with your clip, my brother, or do you want to start with mine?
It doesn't really matter, brother. Play it and we'll go for it
together. Because I really love this clip. I've been watching it now for a couple of days.
All right, let's see.
The ultimate mindset says that I will do the work when I'm tired. I will do the work even if I'm sick. I will do the work even if I didn't sleep well. I will do the work even if I don't feel like it. I will do the work if it's cold outside. I will do the work if it's too hot. I will do the work if no one else wants to do it with me, because I am driven by purpose and duty while others are driven by pleasures and desires. And it is that fork in the road that separates the winners from the losers in life.
Purpose and duty. When I saw this clip, I was like, first I came across him. I think he was like a fitness guy, and then he kind of got into these things. I love his studio, by the way, but purpose and duty, that's a big thing for me. When it comes to faith, it comes from just your life and everything like that. It's what keeps us going, right? Because everyone's like desires and monetary things and things to have, but
purpose and duty.
There we go. And those are really the two choices. And I think, when you wake up at, there's two things. So I feel like this comes from another clip as well. Ed Milet talks about this a lot, and I said this as well. Be the one in your family, because every family, Dan, and I want you to reflect on this and the audience to reflect on this. There's one person in every family tree that is the successful one who changes the trajectory of everyone's lives, of that entire lineage of their life. And I already know, like, from my wife's side, it's my father-in-law. He's the one who busted his butt, and he's the one who's like, he's the guy, and for me, I think about, like, I want to be that guy in my family. Right. And it's not to say like it's an ego thing. It's just like, I want to be the person to be like, okay, we're changing trajectory. So when you're talking about purpose and doing the work every single day, I'm just a big believer in that, man. I think doing the work every single day, make your checklist. Like you said, every night you get prepared for the next day. And I think it's just so important, and it's just not about doing the work just for your, like, the phone calls and the emails and all that stuff. It's just like, hey, if you want to lose 20 pounds, set your gym gear like on your couch or whatever, ready to go. Don't give yourself any excuses. Do the work every single day, because really these small wins, they pile up, my man. What do you think?
So the big two things for me on that was purpose and duty as well. I believe we have a duty to our family, to our customers, to our future customers, to be on our A game. I wholly, like, I mean, if more than ever these days, I always found, like, when I really started taking off in logistics, I found that it was because I had a purpose, that I had to be there for my customer to help them mitigate change curves, help them flatten the change curves and the pivots and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's our duty. I once heard somebody say to me, Dan, you have to keep selling, because some customer out there is waiting for you to help them. And that's the purpose part of it. And when I thought of it, I was like, well, that's pretty deep. Like, it's just sales, but it's true. And I've found those customers. And it's not like they're like, oh my God, I've been waiting for you. Thank you. It's nothing like that. It's like when you find the ability, I know we talked about, this point moving forward and discussing how we're building our business. Right? The business we're building. There is a lot of people out there that need this to get off the ground. They need this for that next level of their business, next level of their relationship, next level of their life.
Yeah.
And I think if we're not diligent and if we're not purposeful in our daily activities, it won't get off the ground. And we've let all those people down. And that's how I think of everything I do. Everything is what is the, how is this going to impact the end person?
Yeah.
And how they need it. And I think that mentality, for me anyways, that mentality is everything. That's what gets you up in the morning when you really don't want to get up.
Yeah.
That's what gets you working when, I was working yesterday. It was a beautiful day. I would have loved to have just lied down on a lounger and just fell asleep in the sun. But you're moving through, like you said, whether it's hot out, whether it's cold out in the wintertime, getting up every morning. And if you go to an office, you're getting in your freezing car, and you're brushing the snow off where we live. You're brushing the snow off the car. And it's like all of these, I would just rather be home. If you can't work from home, you're doing what you need to do in order to serve the people that need you. And I think every logistic rep who changes their mentality to my customers need me, and that next phone call that I make, this person needs me. I think it changes, Ryan, the way you sell. And I think it changes the way you hear no, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to reflect on that, but because I completely agree. Logistics is the one career. It's the I've done a lot of sales jobs in my life, Dan, and this is the one true sales. I don't even want to call it sales because like I consider this all around, but let's call it for what it is, sales, right? Because we got a commission. But it's the one career where I've actually worked at where I'm like, the people that I'm calling, they actually use the services that I use. I'm not pitching a product that's like completely brand new or something. I don't need to really persuade something. Like right now they're using a similar service, and people are going to switch because if they have issues or not. People are not going to switch if you're doing your job, your customer's not going to go. And that's what I truly do. Everything that we look at.
Can we play in the sandbox with this for a bit?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Because you see, when you were in retail, right? People needed your service. They needed you to sell them on whatever clothing would make them look good, feel good. I say sell good, look good, feel good, draw good, look good, feel good, talk good. Look like, so when you were at customer service for the telecom company, they needed that service for you to say, okay, I'm looking at your package here. Do you like movies? You like movies? Okay. If we did this and this, I can get you all the movies you want for the same price. They need that from you. Like in any business, any field, even and again, I love this because any product, Ryan, right? If I want to do an hour's worth of work, and that's hypothetically we didn't have timers, this product would be what I need because it would go right in front of where my eyes are. And as soon as that's gone, I got to get up and do something. Right. Yep. Every product has a use for somebody who really needs it. And whatever you're selling, even if it's not logistics and you just happen to find this podcast or find this live or find this on YouTube, just understand whatever it is you're selling, somebody out there needs it.
Yeah.
You just got to uncover that. 100%. In our world, they need it. I think now they realize they need it more than they did before COVID, to be completely transparent. I think, you and I have been selling and you said to me yesterday, I'm finding people are willing to have conversations.
Yep.
And I think they are because I think people realize the roller coaster that is logistics, because I think it's been amplified by the last couple of years. Like really amplified. And I think it started in 2018 to 2019 is I think when that major amplification really started about how logistics can impact your company. And anyone that's been in the industry since 2018, so we're talking 5 years now.
Ooh, 5 years.
Is that crazy or what, brother? Wow.
I tell people that those COVID years are like they're like the Thanos snap, like you don't count those into like your days and things like that. It's crazy. But one thing you said, Dan, is it's so right, because like the one thing I've learned, and this is just by me just being the avid student that I want to be, and everybody can do this as well, is listen to earning calls. I've noticed in the last 3 quarters ago that these earning calls, and I'm talking these billion dollar companies, they're talking about supply chain. Before they would just kind of talk about, okay, or maybe if it's retail or maybe it's product, they're talking about like what the sustainability, things like that. Now they're devoting a time to their actual earnings call every quarter to supply chain. Whether it be like, hey, it's slow or like what's kind of going on there. And so utilize that and you understand that from two. And I think, Dan, what you said too about like the retail and telecom thing, just to add to that as well, when I worked at the retail and then I worked for the telecom company, it wasn't my company. I wasn't invested into it. Right. And I think the mindset with logistics, if you are an agent, even if you work for a company, you still got to remember you're a business within inside a business. So you represent this. So for me, I weight it more right now when I'm talking to logistics people and like providing solutions, because it's a direct reflection of me, and call it spade a spade. It's what I get paid for right now. If a bad person calls into like a telecom company and they're complaining about their bill and I sell them something, still get paid the same amount of money, didn't make amount of commission, and I'm just on to the next call. Right. So from there, it's very I would look at those things as transactional, especially like retail, right? Because somebody comes in, you give them a little bit of advice if they want, but for the most part, people know what they want to buy anyways. Hey, I'm talking to the entrepreneurs here, the voice out there. If it is your business and you really love what you do, really hone that craft and let it be a reflection of you, because your legacy, and that's another word that I love with duty and purpose, legacy is something that is so important.
Yes. Yeah. I like that. As you were saying, not that I wasn't listening, but something that popped up in my head was, do you like to be sold to? Right. And I do.
Me too.
I love to be sold to. I think when I hit the purchase, every time I stop and I go, what made me do that? Because it just seems so fluid, right? And it's like, and then I go back and I study that.
Me too.
Because I'm like, well, I want to learn that, because that's important to my career. Like, what made me do that? And it's the question I ask every customer, every single customer I've ever had in my life. Why did you choose me? What was it? And we've had Greg on many times. And I remember asking that question to Greg, and he says, you know what, Dan? He goes, I'll tell you one thing. He goes, you sold me without selling me. And I think that's the golden ticket, is you don't sound like a salesman, like, what everyone would call the snake oil salesman, right? But he goes like, you sold me because you cared about what was happening. And I felt it in my heart that you cared about what you were talking about. You were passionate about what you were talking about. So you just sell people without selling them. And to me, I think that's like the jam right there, right? You know what I mean? So I know this is a little bit of a long one, but I think it's important. So let's play this in the next video, and then we'll close off, because this is super important. I think, we talked about that sales strategy. We talked about the mindset and, doing it for the duty and purpose. But there's an aspect of building a multi-million-dollar business that I don't think a lot of people do enough of, Ryan. And that's what this video is all about.
Inconceivably powerful force the world has ever known. Now, the imagination is the mental faculty out of which visions arise. Visions. Pictures that we build in our mind. Most people don't use their imagination constructively. Most people use their imagination destructively. They imagine what they don't want. We've got to consciously and deliberately imagine what we do want. If we will take and sit down with a pen and ask ourselves, what do I really want? What do I really want? And write it down. And then make a written description of it in the present tense. Writing causes thinking. Thinking creates an image. And you get these images going, you're building a vision in your mind. It's the visionaries that's changed the world. Think of that. The fact that I can sit and look into this camera, and you can sit and look at me on your phone, or on your TV, or on your laptop. That was the result of somebody's vision. Do you know everything you've got, the clothes you wear, the house you live in, this microphone that's in front of me? It was all the result of somebody's vision. It's not an accident. You and I have a marvelous imagination. And everything starts with a vision. Van Gogh was asked how he did such beautiful work. He said, first I dream my painting, and then I paint my dream. What do you want to do in your life? Where do you want to go? What do you want to make happen? What do you want to make happen for between now and the end of the year? Think about it for a moment. Don't think of why you can't. Doesn't matter how much money you've got. Doesn't matter how much help you've got. Build a vision of what you would like to accomplish between now and the end of the year. And then make a written description of that vision. Paint the picture with words. You can go either way with this. You can start writing the picture and it'll come on the screen of your mind. Or build a picture and then paint it with words. Vision. Vision is going to direct your life if you let it. Use it constructively. See what you want. Don't spend any time thinking of what you don't want. When you get a picture in here, make it big, make it beautiful. You'll be glad you did.
All right. So Ryan had to jump, but that piece of the puzzle, I think is a piece that most people neglect to really use. So think of it like this: like if you're working in an office, how many times have you just gotten up in the morning, drove to work, and then before you know it, you're at work? You don't even consciously remember the drive. That's a perfect time to envision what your life is going to look like in 6 months. Then you get to work, and then the hustle and bustle. You grab your coffee. Operations is going wrong. You maybe didn't have enough time to sell that day. Nothing. And then if you think about that in your daily life, days turn to weeks, weeks turn to months, months turn to years. And maybe you're in that position where years down the road, you're going like, man, I never thought I'd be here right now. Like I thought I'd be further ahead. I thought I'd have more, but done more, been more. That's where vision comes in. Understanding where you want to go and truly seeing that vision of where you want to go. I think in sales, that's what people paint the picture to us when they sell us. Ryan and I were just talking about being sold to, and being sold is painting that picture of what if. Right? If you walk into, we'll use retail, for example, you walk in and somebody says, oh man, if you put this and this together, I mean, that is flash. That's gold right there. You kind of picture yourself in that outfit. You're like, man, I look good. Yeah, I'm going to get it. These kind of things, when you try things on, you sell yourself on the clothing because of how good it looks or how comfortable it feels, right? That's selling yourself. That's the vision that we're talking about. And vision is everything. If you don't have a vision of what your life looks like by Christmas, get one today, because that vision is going to drive those bad days. That vision is going to drive, and it's going to actually attract the people to you. The law of attraction, that's what it's all about, is it attracts the people to you. Dreams don't chase you back. You chase dreams, but dreams do give you the ability to attract things into your life that help you achieve those dreams. And that's the critical part. It's the vision. I can tell you from my own personal life, when I didn't have vision for what I wanted, it was like getting off the highway. But when I had a vision and I focus on that vision every morning, it's like you're on the interstate and you're cooking at 100 miles an hour towards that goal. And people come around you and help you. So if you use the interstate analogy, people come around you and then people get ahead of you and get caught by the cops so you can go straight through, right? And I know it's kind of probably a morbid way to look at it, but you know what I'm saying. So this vision aspect is critical. So for all y'all out there watching, Bob Proctor goes on in some of his other videos. If you haven't watched a lot of Bob Proctor's videos, what he talks about, the written statement. He always says you start with, I am so happy and grateful now that I, if you're looking at, we'll use what the purpose of this show is, to help 10,000 sales reps generate $1 million GP in under 12 months. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm generating $1 million GP by helping customers achieve their goals, by helping them mitigate change curves, by helping, and you write out that description and you keep it in your pocket. Put it on a piece of paper and just fold it and put it in your pocket. And every chance you have, read that piece of paper. And then you're going to memorize it within a week. But keep reading it. Keep going. Because that vision will become a reality. And this I can tell you firsthand, because it happened when I opened up my logistics company. I said within 3 years, we're going to be doing $35 million in business. And I had this vision of walking up the stairs and turning around, and somebody in a black SUV got out and said, we did it. And lo and behold, within 3 years, my partner at the time was driving a cream Cadillac. He bought a black Escalade. And so as I'm walking through this journey, I'm like, there's the black truck. Because I knew it was going to be my partner that told me. I'm like, I had no idea he was going to buy a black truck. 2.5 years later, he bought a black truck. It's like, okay, now it's starting to come. And I remember vividly walking up the stairs, and I get goosebumps just thinking about it, walking up the stairs and hearing the tires roll in behind me, turning around. I said, that's it. This is it. And he was like, we did it. We hit that number that you said you wanted to hit within 3 years. And that vision was what drove me in the bad days, the challenges. When, sometimes you're looking and you're like, oh, I just forget it. I'm done. It's over with. And it's like that vision is like, no, it's not. I got more to do. I got people to help. I've got customers to assist. And it's like, okay, let's work through the problem harder. Let's dig in deeper. Let's sink our heels in and really hold a stand. Like, if you ever seen the movie 300, when they use their shields and they create literally like an entire base of impenetrable steel. That's what happens when you have a vision. So for all y'all that don't, please go out, watch or listen to this podcast again and get that vision. So important. All right, y'all. Yeah, I think that's it for today, my friends. Thank you for watching Tuesday. Remember, go out there and make every call educational, right? If you're watching on LinkedIn, head over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, because we are trying to push a lot of people over to YouTube. They're live, and their algorithms and everything just are a little better. As you probably know, LinkedIn lately has been kind of like wishy-washy and wonky when it comes to live. So for all y'all watching and listening, make sure you head over there. Make sure you head over and check out all of the different subscriptions on podcasts for us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the podcast, and we will see y'all later.